各位朋友，大家好，这里是新华社中国经济信息社在第19届国际液化天然气会议现场的演播室。我们非常荣幸地邀请到了 IGU 主席江周明江先生做客 LNG 2019高端系列访谈。欢迎您，江先生 ，Welcome。
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
What role do you think natural gas is playing in global energy transformation?
Well, and you're asking a very interesting question. And to develop the market, there is three pillars. One of them is the government policy, and the other one is the supply side and the demand side. So let's focus on since we are in the LNG conference, and let's focus on the LNG. So LNG-wise, you're going to have a supply side and the demand side. Supply side, 2018 is really the groundbreaking year because all the Australia and some of the Mozambique and also some Mediterranean country on the stream. That means we're going to guarantee that really in the positive perspective of LNG market. Then another thing is very interesting is underway here in China, thanks to the blue sky policy. And you might see that the Shanghai air is much cleaner than compared to the couple, at least 5 years ago. So that is really and appreciate the government policy and develop the Chinese market in this way. But the global scale wise, demand is actually 2017 was demand is rapidly growth, but so-called and the gas glut. But all the Chinese consumption take all the oversupplied.
So what are your expectations for the global LNG market in 5 years?
5 years definitely, and this tendency will continue because the supply side is a lot of big discovery and taking place. Also the big pipeline project is on stream. Also another LNG facility is on production, especially in the Canada LNG is just have a FID stage. So you can see the global wise and the lot in the Mediterranean area is really on the supply side is the guaranteed. This is really the benefit of the global consumer, especially in the China and Japan and Korea, heavily depending on the LNG market.
So what do you think are the obstacles that facing the global LNG market, and what can we do about it?
Well, and this is LNG is not the cheap product. It needs a huge infrastructure. That means it needs huge money. So also the investor and the operator make sure their asset is not stranded. So I think this is a really good time. All the project the suffering under uncertainty now is clear the sky. So I see the next 5 or 10 years, LNG is a dominant fuel in the global energy mix. Presently, and the natural gas is traded by 30% of total production in the world. Now is 20% through the pipeline, 10% through the LNG. But the next 5 years, LNG will be almost 50% increase. So this is a very positive sign for LNG market. Also, another side is people living in the developing and the underserviced LNG market. They begin to see the standard. They're going to see the improve their standard of living. They need a cleaner air. They want to get rid of the dirty fuel for that cooking. That's really helped LNG market will grow.
So as technologies such as LNG liquefaction, transportation, and increased LNG application in vehicles, what are the prospects of LNG development in the future? And what challenge does it face in that specific regard?
Yeah, you point out the very interesting the question here. Usually, the LNG is used for power and the heating, but some of the country is a little bit, relatively speaking, the hot country, they don't need heating, but they need cooking. Another one is industry. But the next, maybe in the 1 or 2 decades later, transportation will play a key role to the growing the LNG market, especially in the long haul and the maritime transportation. You can see that after implementation of the IMO 2020 regulation, you can see the really the landscaping change in the transportation of a marine, especially in the the cruise ship. They really and offering the good vehicle to their customers, the clean vehicle, not driven by the diesel, dirty fuels. So all the cruise ship will be replaced by the clean LNG vessel. So that is really the positive sign also. Another thing is you see that in the China is started, is a leader over the boosting up the LNG growth. But India and China is many aspects alike. But China has a policy to boost up the LNG growth thanks to the blue sky policy, I said many times. But India does not have that policy. So they 2000 at the base year of 2000, they almost consume the same amount of gas, almost 30 million tons per year. But China almost 7 times larger than the baseline of the 2000. But India is only in the 20-30% increase. That is a typical example of the difference made by the deliberate the government policy. That's why technology is important, like on the FSRU and the small scale and the enabling technology open up the new market and underserviced market, which they don't afford, invest the big money. Also, the policymaker is important. Industry have to really work hard to overcome the environmental footprint, like methane emission challenge. We can help some reduce the methane emission, but LNG itself is molecular-wise is a methane. So we have to have really in the tight control the leakage and the emission over the total value of LNG industry.
So what do you think the Chinese government can do to further promote the use of application of LNG?
Well, and I see the very positive prospect in the Chinese market. But one, you see nowadays in the market, as the market grows and the geopolitics is intervene in this market. This is a really big hurdle. As you see that trade dispute between the U.S. and China is a big hurdle to the boost up the Chinese market in the future. But sooner or later, I see the very the positive side, and they two countries is wise enough to reach a certain agreement to stabilize the LNG market.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So how to strengthen international cooperation to promote the global LNG trade?
Well, and the LNG is a global product. So they born certain place, they're not going to live longer there. They're going to move around. So now is 30% of birth in the original place, they're going to move in other country. But now is I see that the tendency is growing. And one is we have to look at the present market is the long-term contract, such as the take away, take or pay, or the destination clause But as the market grows, and I believe the commercial itself is a solved day hurdle, but the regulation, also previously the legacy of LNG market is a direct deal between the producer and the end user. But now is 30% of the so-called is a spot market. Is 1/3 of total LNG trade is the spot market. That means this market became in the liquid and very volatile. So I think the strength of the energy market is there are some hurdle and some obstacle, but industry and the policymakers and the technology will get over in this. There is a strength because always and product is getting popular and technology will help the growth of the market.
So what has IGU done to promote the global LNG development, and what's your future plan?
Well, IGU was born around 1933, almost 100 years history. Previously, this organization is a more or less a family environment organization. But as LNG and especially natural gas grows, and in recent years, previously we more focused on the event care and the members care. Now we are focused on the advocacy. Advocacy is we're not advertise the opportunity of gas industry. Also, we're going to criticize. Also, we're going to expose ourselves to the weakness of gas industry. So, what challenge we have to overcome? So, we're going to provide a very objective view of the gas industry, not the bias for the producer. Also, we're going to show what is the challenge, what is the environmental footprint we get over, like methane emission. So this is our strength. So we want to be very objective and global-wise. Also, if we have some challenge, we're going to work together. IGU provide a global collaboration platform to overcome the hurdle we're facing in coming decades. Also, develop a new market. Also, help the human living quality is for the upgrading.
So what part will the rapid development of LNG play in forming a more globalized natural gas market and a pricing mechanism?
Yeah. Well, and as I said before, pricing mechanism is only applied in Asia, so-called the premium market. But as LNG getting in the global market, there is really that clause, destination clause and the take-or pay, those the legacy will be removed. So I think this is I would say LNG market will be globalized. That means especially in the U.S. LNG export does not have any destination clause. So there is a very good prospect to develop the energy market in the positive side.
Yes, that's pretty much everything. What else do you want to tell our audience?
Well, and I say one thing. I have to say this. This LNG conference 2019 is time-wise, place-wise perfect, because China is the biggest market in the world. Last year, China ranks the second biggest importer, the LNG. And the total scale of the gas import is number one. But I see pretty soon China will be number one in the LNG import. So that's the things. That's why, and Shanghai is the first city the LNG vessel landed in China. Also, China is really the biggest market in the world. This is the first time China holding LNG conference in this scale. So I see that this is a very bright future for China to have their citizens breathe clean air.